Okay, so you've got this amazing dream, right? You've got the skill, you're ready to go, but then you check your bank account and, well, there's nothing there. It's that classic problem that stops so many great ideas dead in their tracks. But what if the way forward isn't about saving up for years or getting lucky? What if the real key is to learn your way into your business instead of just trying to earn your way in? Let's dive into that.
And this, right here, is the million-dollar question. Job first or business? To really get our heads around this, let's follow the story of a young baker. He's just finished all his training, he's incredibly talented, but he has absolutely zero capital. His family's telling him, get a safe job, but all he wants to do is open his own bakery. He's stuck at a crossroads. One path looks safe and secure. The other one, it feels totally impossible. So which way should he go? All right, to figure this out, we're going to walk through 5 key steps. First, we'll look at the entrepreneur's dilemma. Then we'll uncover something called the high-paying job trap. After that, we'll explore a totally different approach, the apprentice's path. From there, we'll map out how to go from apprentice to owner. And finally, we'll tie it all together with the long-term vision. So let's get back to our baker. He's in a really tough spot. He knows how to bake, he has the skill, but he doesn't have the money for a professional oven, let alone an actual shop. And on top of it all, his family is really pressuring him to just get a stable job and start earning. You can just feel that dream starting to slip away before it even gets a chance to start. It's a feeling a lot of us have probably felt. And this is exactly where the usual advice just falls apart. People always say, oh, just get a job and save up. But let's actually run the numbers. Even if our baker works his tail off for 3 years, he might save up 2 or 3 lakh rupees. In the real world of starting a business, that's just not going to cut it. It's not enough to launch a real bakery. So that whole save-up strategy, it's pretty much a dead end. Okay, so if saving isn't the answer, what is? Well, most people would aim for the best-paying, most stable job they can find. For our baker, that would be a fancy job at, say, a 5-star hotel. It looks like the smart, responsible thing to do. But and this is the twist. We're about to see why that safe path is actually the biggest risk you can take for your dream. And you can't deny it. The appeal is huge. A big company offers a good starting salary, right? You get the prestige of a well-known brand, you get benefits, you get a comfortable, predictable routine, your family is thrilled, your friends are impressed. It's so easy to start thinking, hey, I've made it. And that dream of owning your own place, it starts to feel a little bit distant, maybe even a little silly. But, and this is the absolute key, that comfort is a trap. It really is. It's like a warm, cozy blanket that feels great at first, but it's slowly, quietly suffocating that entrepreneurial fire inside you. And believe me, once you're wrapped up in it, it is so incredibly hard to break free. So how does this trap actually work? Well, it happens in a few ways. First, lifestyle inflation. Your spending just naturally grows to match your new salary. That's a huge part of it. Then, because you're comfortable, your ambition starts to shift. You stop thinking about building your own thing and start thinking about the next promotion. Then comes the social pressure from everyone around you to stay on that safe path. And finally, you start developing these unrealistic standards. You think any business you launch has to be as big and perfect as the company you work for, which is just impossible when you're starting from scratch. And this quote from Sandeep Maheshwari just nails it. Your whole mindset changes. The question in your head is no longer, how do I start my own business? It becomes, how do I get that next raise? How do I get that promotion? You're on a completely different railway track, and it's heading further and further away from your original dream. So, if the safe path is a trap, what on earth are you supposed to do? Well, here's the alternative. It's a radical idea that completely flips the goal on its head. Instead of working to earn money, you work to gain knowledge. You choose the apprentice's path. And just look at the difference here. It's night and day. A big company job pays you to learn one tiny specialized piece of the puzzle. The apprentice's path, even if it pays very little or nothing at all, lets you learn the entire operation of a small business, from top to bottom. The goal isn't to be a great employee. The goal is to become a future owner. So here's your new mission, and it only lasts about 6 months. You go out and find a small, successful business that's already doing what you want to do. You go to the owner and convince them to let you work, maybe even for free, in exchange for knowledge. And then you become a sponge. You don't just learn the craft. You learn how they do sales, how they talk to customers, where they get their supplies. You learn everything. Okay, so after those intense 6 months, something amazing has happened. You're not just a baker anymore. You're a potential business owner who understands the entire playbook.
The transformation is huge. So how do you actually make that final leap? Well, here's the launch plan.
And this is a super actionable plan. First, you have genuine, earned confidence. Not just hope, but confidence, because you've seen how a successful business works from the inside. You use that confidence to create a professional business proposal, not some vague idea, but a real, concrete plan. With that report in hand, you can go to your network, friends, relatives, and pitch them to be a small-scale investor. And finally, you launch your own thing, starting small and smart, using the same model you just spent 6 months mastering. And all of a sudden, that big, scary number you need to start, it's not so scary anymore. It becomes a concrete target. We're talking about 5 to 10 lakh rupees, or, somewhere in the ballpark of 6 to 12,000 US dollars. That's a totally manageable amount for an investor, like an uncle or a family friend who really believes in you and your detailed plan. Now, this part is absolutely non-negotiable. You can't just go ask for money with a nice idea. You have to present a professional project report. This is a document that shows you've done your homework. It breaks down your startup costs, your pricing strategy, your projected revenue, your profit margins, everything. It shows you're serious, you're not playing around, and you're going to treat their investment with respect. This is what turns you from a kid with a dream into a credible potential business partner. But look, this entire strategy, this whole approach, it only works if you adopt the right mindset. This is not some get-rich-quick scheme. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and it absolutely requires a long-term vision. This timeline really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? It all begins with that crucial 6-month apprenticeship. Year 1 is just about survival. That's it. The next few years are all about growing and stabilizing the business. Real, scalable success, that's a 5 to 10-year game. You have to have a vision that goes way, way beyond next month's paycheck. Okay, but what's the worst that can happen? What if you do the 6 months and you just can't find an investor? Well, this is the most beautiful part of this whole plan. It has a built-in safety net. In the absolute worst-case scenario, you've just spent half a year gaining the most incredible, practical, hands-on experience imaginable. You are now a way more valuable candidate for a great job than you ever were before. It's a win-win. It's probably the lowest-risk way to chase a high-risk dream. So, when you get right down to it, it all comes down to this one question. Which path are you going to choose? The path of short-term comfort and a steady paycheck? Or the path of long-term vision and building your own legacy? The decision, as always, is yours.